Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. To the Daily Mail. Donald Trump Jr. and Kimberly Guilfoyle, Ahmed Malik, ring bell at New York Stock Exchange to celebrate anti-woke Amazon alternative. Public Square Marketplace going public, doubling estimated worth to $400 million within hours. Yeah. Public Square is a self-proclaimed alternative to Amazon, is bringing in shoppers who hate big woke corporations. Now, I digress for 1 minute. Kimberly Guilfoyle, the current fiancée of Donald Trump Jr., is the ex-wife of California Governor Gavin Newsom, for those of you that didn't know. Now, if and when there is a President Trump, Governor Newsom debate for the presidential election, Kimberly Guilfoyle sitting in the audience next to Donald Trump Jr. ought to be interesting before the debate and after the debate, how they mingle socially. I don't know how they get along, but they don't have any children together. That I do know. But I digressed enough. The company doubled its estimate worth to $400 million. Boy, I'll tell you, if I was smart enough to put maybe $20,000 in there, that would have been a quick doubling of my money. For those of you that don't know, this is what they call a parallel economy. For especially the last 5 or 6 years, 8 years, a lot of these big corporations, entertainment and commerce like Amazon, Starbucks, the list is endless, have gone with the progressive woke ideology and basically said to their conservative or normal customers, Target as well, we don't care what you think. You'll always be our customers. We're just going to cater to the far left because they make the most noise. And it was like taking advantage. Take for granted, I should say, that there'll be customers. But a lot of these places, there was nowhere else to go. A classic example of that is the new movie. Now, I can't say what it is. Sound of Freedom, because it'll ruin the algorithm, because I notice every time I mention that word or title, the algorithm of my videos go right down the toilet. So that has grossed over $100 million so far. And so did Passion of the Christ and many other movies that are starting to come around. Companies are starting to come around. Jeremy's Razors, they also started a candy bar company. You list it. The list is endless, I should say. What's happening is, and they're doing it directly against Hollywood, which is excellent. Especially with the internet and streaming, it allows conservative type, or what is called normal programming, without any woke agenda in it, without the LGBTQ, AI plus, whatever the acronyms are now. None of that stuff in there. Just great stories. Look at the last Top Gun. I mean, it grossed hundreds of millions. Why? Because it was an excellent movie. People want to be entertained. They don't want to be lectured. They don't want to have political agendas stuffed down their throat. They want to be entertained. Life is hard enough, even under the best of circumstances, and people want to watch movies or go to the movies to escape for a little while. That's all. They want to be entertained. We'll talk about this company a little bit more, but this is what's happening. These companies are coming up, and they're challenging the woke progressive companies now. They call parallel economy. And as the parallel economy for conservatives grows bigger and bigger and bigger, eventually they'll be at loggerheads and equal financially and culturally. The culture wars, they call it. And then we'll see who wins. The San Diego-based company launched nationwide in August of 22 and began trading on the New York Stock Exchange today under the ticket PSQH, has drawn in conservative heavyweights, including Donald Trump Jr. and former Arizona Senate candidate Blake Masters. Yeah, I'll bet. The event included CEO Michael Seifert, Donald Trump Jr. and his fiancée Kimberly Guilfoyle, who are both equal investors. They're going to make a bunch. Nick Ayers, former chief of staff to Vice President Mike Pence, and Ahmed Malik, founder and CEO of Farraja Partners and Public Square's main financier. Leadership celebrated the doubling of its market cap value, estimated at $200 million to over $400 million, in only a few hours since it started trading. The company, which is a self-proclaimed alternative to Amazon, is bringing in shoppers who hate big woke companies. It's not so much that they hate woke companies, is that they tell a lot of their customers, just normal everyday people, not even conservative, just middle-of-the-road people, F you. We don't care if you're offended by this. We're going to do it anyway because we're going to keep you as customers and you have nowhere else to go. Well, there's other places to go now. And there always really has been. It shows those guys outside the stock exchange. According to excerpts from an investor call obtained by Daily Motion, last week, Public Square's leadership and top financiers discussed its investment strategy. And I'll breeze through this. It's a long article. The company is the foundation of this new economy. That's right, a parallel economy, who moved from New York to Florida to try and escape the country's political and cultural divisions. He added that Public Square is not only going to allow to shop for our values and patronize those businesses, but also insulate us from being platformed or censored. He pointed to multiple instances of the federal government working with big tech companies to suppress American free speech, particularly conservative viewpoints. Now, I have to say, Elon Musk is not 100% free speech, but Twitter is just way better, 1,000 times better than it was. They're on our way. Unfortunately, conservative people have to really be pressed against the wall before they fight back. It's just the nature of their personality. I just seen how badly needed Public Square is. Not just Republicans, by the way, who are crying out. If you look at survey data, it's Republicans, it's Democrats, it's independents. Pretty much nobody likes corporate America just deciding to install woke values on us when we're trying to shop for toilet paper or buy a new crib for our baby. Yeah. Yeah, do you think for a minute? I mean, I'm old enough. I'm 66. I'm old enough way before the internet days. We used to shop through a catalog or in the store itself. I mean, would you go into Sears to buy some tools and bombarded with progressive woke nonsense? It would be unheard of. They would laugh you out of the place. He said the marketplace is an incredible opportunity to provide people with an alternative to actually feel good about spending their dollars on products by businesses that respect them. Absolutely. Not that they just respect them. They respect them enough to keep the politics and the culture out of their business. I don't care. Hollywood's been run by lefties and progressives for decades, but it's never really seeped that much into their movies, not to the point it is now, because they're in business, and their business to make as much money as they can for their investors and their company. It's always been like that. And those of you that think, oh, yeah, you capitalist monsters, you progressives and leftists just like money just as much as the next person in America. The only difference is you want somebody else's money. You don't want to raise it and earn it yourself through innovation and just trying new things out, taking chances. And there's some pictures here, Don Jr. and some of the investors. According to its leadership, Public Square has been in the top 5 on the Apple App Store multiple times and achieved over 1 million members from its national launch last July. It's kind of a mirror of Amazon. Oh, gosh, I remember when I was a kid, our Amazon was the Sears catalog. And at Christmas time, my mother would say, here's the Christmas catalog. Pick out 10 things that you want. Now, you might not get all 10, but she said, make it so number 1 is the thing you want the most, and number 10 is the thing you want the least. Whatever they could afford at the time, that's what I would get on the list. Now, that being said, just before the internet started taking off, Sears and Roebuck got rid of their catalog. Yeah. They had it all set up. They had all the warehouses. They had all the catalogs distributed, tens and hundreds of millions to almost every home in the country. It would have been perfect for them to pick up and be an Amazon-type company, and maybe even now be the biggest retail company in the world. Now they're bankrupt. Timing is everything, folks. Last month, Daily Mail reported that the marketplace nearly doubled its number of users since consumers started to boycott Bud Light for its promotional time with transgender social media star, and I can't say the name because it'll screw up the algorithm. And it will go on and on how well they're doing. Connects freedom-loving Americans with business that respect them. Yeah. They're not saying, well, John, these businesses now are caving to these right-wing nuts. Not at all. Not at all. They're just conducting normal business without political or cultural influences beat you over the head with. Their aim is to build a parallel economy where customers have to buy anything from vendors where political values don't align with their own. I don't care if the CEO of 20th Century Fox is a progressive left-wing nut bar. As long as they produce movies and television shows that are entertaining, that maybe have some value. Like I know there's a whole bunch of lefties that wrote for the TV show House MD. I love House MD. One of the best written television shows of all time. I have no doubt, from the camera people, the electricians on set, to everybody in between, and the producers and the company that's financing it, that the vast majority of them were left-leaning. And I really don't care, because they didn't put it down my throat with their product. And that's the part these morons don't get. Oh, boy. The launch of Public Square comes as leading conservative voices have stepped up their war on woke, condemning investment firms who promise to include environmental, social, governance, ESG factors when they make decisions. Yeah, it's amazing to me. So there you have it, folks. Slowly but surely. I consider the conservative movement, so to speak, or I should say the anti-woke progressive movement, the normal American movement, very much like, I use the comparison, trying to turn around an aircraft carrier. It's huge. It takes forever to turn. But once it starts to turn, nothing can stop it. It's powerful. It's huge. And once it starts to turn, look out of the way. And that's exactly what's happening now. Slowly but surely, these progressives and woke companies have shot themselves in the foot and poked you in the eye long enough. Now there's alternatives. Look at what happened to all the conservative people. They were using Patreon to sell channel memberships and memberships for their websites and all kinds of other things. They were thrown off with no notice because they didn't like the politics. Can you imagine? I have Verizon as my cell phone carrier. Verizon called me and said, John, unless you change your politics, we're going to cancel you. I would just laugh. I say, what are you, stupid? You would throw away money, free money, for nothing? And that's exactly what they're doing. That's what Patreon did, and many other money websites that collect money for conservative or moderate values. Crowdfunding. They just cut people off. Can you imagine if I use Time Warner Spectrum as my internet company, and they called me and said, John, if you don't stop doing your YouTube channel, you can't use our internet anymore. And I would just laugh because it is ridiculous, but that's what these other companies are doing. And finally, people that are conservative or even normal are starting to fight back, and good for them. That's just part of the personality of a conservative person. They don't march in the streets. They don't scream and holler. They don't get in your face. They don't do any of the things that the left does. Why? Because it's not in their nature. But when they do decide to turn and fight back economically, it'll be slow and it'll take forever. And just like an aircraft carrier turning, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.